Is it right for an African man to kneel down to propose to a woman he loves?
Well, as an African man, it's not right for a man to kneel down to propose to a woman.
Why?
Let me take reference from the Bible. Abraham, Sarah addressed him as my Lord. And who is a Lord? A Lord is somebody meant to be worshipped. So whoever that is an idol cannot kneel down. Rather, you kneel down for an idol. So the next God is a man. In every family, the man stands as God representative. When we go to the book of 2 Corinthians, from chapter 3 and the 7, it says that as God to Jesus to a man, and a man to the family. So that is the reason why man doesn't cover head during prayers. So if a man kneels down to a woman, that means the woman is the idol.
In African context, it is not the ideal thing. But in the Western world, it happens. In the olden days, men marry up to 3 wives, 2 wives. And you discover that all of them refer them when they want to greet, when they want to call them. Nai, that is the father of all. Nai Bikonu. What does it mean? It means the man is the head of the house, is the God they are seeing. So they refer him as Nai. In those days, there was respect. Now they are talking of civilization or women liberation. That is why there is no respect. And wife, they don't respect their husband.
This is the question I got recently. Ever since Ruby Orjiakor was proposed to by her own lover, I now want to ask you, has kneeling down to propose to a woman removed something from what the man used to be? Or has that depreciated his value as a man? Has that traded on his own supremacy as the head of the family? If not kneeling down has ever added value to your life, single yourself out. Let me answer you and ask you more. There is one thing I would like to tell you. Somebody told me, with this has not been found in the record of African culture. I now ask him, why didn't you stick to culture and forget about the change when you talk about civilization? One thing that can never be changed is change. The problem of Africans is that most times we like to emulate things without emulating the purpose. We saw someone that did it. I knew that somebody brought this idea. Somebody must have done it first with a purpose. Probably he offended the woman, or he felt that he does not deserve the woman. He then knelt down to propose to the woman based on what he needs, and he desperately needed her. And whatever it will cost him to get the woman, he doesn't care. He was ready to pay the price. Then he knelt down to propose to the woman. But some people by the side are now seeing it that it is the proper way. That once you kneel down to propose to a woman, more especially publicly, you spring up the pride of the woman. Yes, women like that, and it's never in the record of African culture, to be sincere. But let me tell you one thing. In as much as you cannot pick up the purpose of doing that, it shouldn't be counted as a culture. At the same time, it shouldn't be counted out of the line of necessity. Whatever you know that can add value to you, you do it. More especially when it comes to family issue. What you give is what you have in return. Every family has pattern. If it takes you watching your plates for your wife in order to make her happy and have a happy home, do it and close your ear from what others do, because the way it works for Mr. A might not be the way it will work for Mr. B. Okay? Now back to what you ask. Is it right for an African man to kneel down to propose to a woman? There is this problem that is so common among we African men. We put pride in the front. We consider our ego before we talk about the future. You being a man is not by your making. You being appointed as head of a family does not mean you are too special or you are a different species. No. It is just for orderliness in the home. A woman is never a subject to you, but a woman can submit to you. If you cannot kneel down to propose to a woman you love, it means that you've not seen yourself in another body. Some will tell you that kneeling down to propose to a woman is a total submission. No, it is not like that. Huh? But you usually pull off your clothes to sleep with her, isn't it? It takes a good servant to make a good leader. You as a man, to kneel down before the woman to propose to her shows how you value her. That doesn't mean you normally kneel down for every woman. It is something you know you can do for a woman that matters to you. You as a man that said you are too big to kneel down to propose to a woman you love, do you know some words are better expressed than saying? Hmm? Not doing that has not in any way quoted you wrong. But saying it out simply means you are not seeing her as your better half. Equally means that you are seeing less of her. Hmm? Then to some people, the love is questionable. Because what is love? Love is the only thing that will make a man act less of him. Now make inquiry. You will find out that those great men that the entire community respects so much, inside their home, they tolerate, they take shits from their wives. Why? I am this, I am that. It is outside. Once you enter your home, there is pattern for every home. Every home has a different way of survival. What works for Mr. A might not work for Mr. B. That's why you should close your ear. You shouldn't do because others are doing. At the same time, I'm saying it that whoever that brought this idea, that initiated this idea of kneeling down to propose to a woman, must have done it with a purpose. But some people are now emulating it, leaving the purpose behind. Okay? Now back to what I am saying. A man that loves a woman, one of the signs is that the man will be acting less of him. He will act stupid most times. At times, he does some things that will make you say, wow, can this man do this? At most, he can give his life to save the woman he loves. If you feel too big to kneel down to propose to a woman you want to spend your entire life with, can you be able to give your life in order to protect her? That's another thing. At this tender age of your marriage or that relationship, because you are yet to enter the marriage, you started protecting your ego, talking about pride of a man, boasting of being an African man. Let me tell you, when love is involved, sacrifice follows. There are things you must forfeit. You must live a selfless life. You must take shit even when you are not ought to. Whatever it will cost you, if it will take you kneeling to propose to that woman to win her the more, there is nothing bad about it. Let us not drag culture into this. Huh? In the book of John 3:16, for those of you that are Christians, what did he say? For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Isn't it? When you love, you give up your pride. When you love, you give up your ego. When you love, you take the shame for your family to be glorified. When you love, you die for whom you love. Don't misunderstand me and don't misinterpret my word. Don't misquote me. Look closely to this. You know that is a practice of the Western world. ịma na anyị edo mbụ amụta nke ndị ọcha anyị ebubata na nke a without knowing the purpose. Now come back to what we are saying. I did not see anything bad about a man kneeling down to propose to a woman